The kingdom of Judah, once a shining beacon of God's favor, a land of promise and prosperity, found itself cloaked in the shadow of a mighty empire, Babylon. The once vibrant streets now echoed with the footsteps of foreign soldiers. King Nebuchadnezzar II, a ruler of immense power and ambition, had risen to prominence, casting a long shadow over the kingdoms of the ancient Near East. His conquests were swift and his rule unyielding. Judah, now a vassal state to the Babylonian Empire, faced a perilous present and an uncertain future. The people lived under constant surveillance and the threat of harsh reprisals. Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, ruled at a time when the very foundations of his kingdom seemed to tremble. His reign was marked by anxiety and the heavy burden of subjugation. The Assyrian Empire, which had long held sway in the region, had crumbled, leaving a void quickly filled by the ascendant Babylonians. The shift in power was both sudden and overwhelming. Jehoiakim, like other kings in the region, was forced to acknowledge Nebuchadnezzar's supremacy and pay tribute to the Babylonian Empire. This tribute was a constant reminder of their subjugation. The weight of Babylonian dominance hung heavy over Judah. The presence of Babylonian soldiers was a daily reminder of their loss of freedom. The once proud kingdom was now subject to the whims of a foreign power. The spirit of the people was tested as they navigated this new reality. The specter of rebellion flickered in the hearts of some, a dangerous dance with a fearsome power. The desire for freedom clashed with the fear of Babylonian retribution. Jehoiakim's reign was marked by an ill-fated decision rebellion against Babylon. Perhaps emboldened by the shifting alliances of the time, Jehoiakim made the fateful choice to withhold tribute, defying Nebuchadnezzar and challenging Babylonian power. This rebellion, however, would prove to be a costly gamble. Nebuchadnezzar, a ruler known for his ruthlessness, did not tolerate defiance. He dispatched his forces to quell the uprising and bring Judah back into line. Babylonian troops, a formidable and relentless force, swept through Judah, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. The rebellion, rather than securing Judah's independence, only tightened Babylon's grip on the kingdom. Jehoiakim's defiance had brought about the very consequences he had sought to avoid. The kingdom, weakened and vulnerable, now faced the full brunt of Nebuchadnezzar's wrath. Jehoiakim's rebellion cast a long shadow over the reign of his successor, his son Jehoiakim. Jehoiakim ascended to the throne amidst the chaos and uncertainty wrought by his father's ill-fated defiance. However, his reign would prove to be short-lived and tumultuous. Nebuchadnezzar, determined to crush any further resistance in Judah, returned with his forces, laying siege to Jerusalem, the capital city. The Babylonian army, vast and well-equipped, surrounded the city, cutting off its supply lines and subjecting it to a relentless siege. Jehoiakim, facing the overwhelming might of the Babylonian army, made a fateful decision. Perhaps hoping to spare his city from utter destruction, he surrendered to Nebuchadnezzar, along with his family and court officials. Jehoiakim's reign, begun amidst crisis, had come to an abrupt and ignominious end. The Babylonian siege of Jerusalem was a period of terror and despair for the city's inhabitants. Trapped within the city walls, the people of Jerusalem faced the daily reality of war, dwindling supplies, the constant fear of attack, and the agonizing uncertainty of their fate. The Babylonian army, a relentless force, tightened its grip on the city. Siege towers, battering rams and archers all played a role in the Babylonian assault. The defenders of Jerusalem, though determined, were vastly outnumbered and outmatched. The siege, however, was not merely a military campaign, it was also a siege of the spirit. The people of Judah, once confident in their covenant with God, now grappled with the terrifying reality of their situation. Their faith, their city, and their very way of life hung precariously in the balance. Section 5. Exile and Desolation, the Fate of Judah. With the surrender of Jehoiachin, Jerusalem, the heart of the kingdom of Judah lay at the mercy of Nebuchadnezzar. The Babylonian king, determined to crush any further resistance and to ensure Judah's subjugation, enacted a brutal and systematic program of exile and plunder. The Babylonians entered Jerusalem not as conquerors, but as despoilers. The city's treasures, accumulated over centuries of royal patronage and religious devotion, were systematically looted. The temple in Jerusalem, the holiest site in Judaism, was stripped of its sacred artifacts, its golden vessels and furnishings, carried back to Babylon as trophies of war. But the plunder of Jerusalem was merely the prelude to a greater tragedy, the exile of its people. Nebuchadnezzar, fearing further rebellion, chose to deport a significant portion of the Judean population to Babylon. This exile, a traumatic event in Jewish history, marked the beginning of the Babylonian captivity. Section 6. Zedekiah's Rebellion, a last stand against Babylon. In the wake of Jehoiakim's exile, Nebuchadnezzar installed Zedekiah, another son of Jehoiakim, as a puppet king in Jerusalem. However, Zedekiah's reign, though intended to be a period of subservience to Babylon, would instead be marked by a final, desperate rebellion. Zedekiah, perhaps influenced by advisors who believed that Babylon's power was waning, made the fateful decision to renounce his allegiance to Nebuchadnezzar. This rebellion, a last-ditch attempt to break free from Babylonian domination, proved to be a fatal miscalculation. Nebuchadnezzar, enraged by Zedekiah's betrayal, returned to Judah with his forces. The Babylonian army once again laid siege to Jerusalem, this time with a vengeance. The siege would prove to be even more devastating than the previous one. Section 7. The Sins of a Nation, a Biblical Perspective. The Book of Kings offers a stark and unflinching assessment of the reasons behind Judah's downfall. The kings of Judah, once revered as God's anointed rulers, had strayed from the path of righteousness. Idolatry, social injustice, and a blatant disregard for God's laws had become rampant. The prophets, God's messengers, had warned the people and their leaders time and again. They spoke of God's anger at their wickedness and the impending consequences of their actions. Their warnings, however, often fell on deaf ears. The fall of Jerusalem, the exile of its people, and the destruction of the temple were not mere historical accidents. They were understood as divine judgment. The consequences of Judah's rebellion against God were severe and far-reaching. Section 8. Echoes of the Fall, Lessons from Jerusalem's Fate. The story of Jerusalem's fall resonates throughout history, a cautionary tale of the consequences of rebellion, both against earthly powers and against God. It is a narrative that has been told and retold, each time with a renewed sense of urgency and relevance. It serves as a stark reminder that even the most powerful kingdoms are not immune to the forces of history or to the consequences of their actions. The ruins of Jerusalem stand as a testament to the fragility of human endeavors when they are not aligned with divine will. The events described in 2 Kings 24 offer valuable lessons for individuals and nations alike. The dangers of pride, the folly of ignoring prophetic warnings, and the ultimate cost of turning away from God are vividly illustrated in these ancient texts. The importance of heeding warnings and the wisdom in humility and repentance. The devastating impact of turning away from God are all themes that echo through the ages. These lessons are not just historical footnotes, but are relevant to our contemporary world. The fall of Jerusalem is a story of loss, of a city and a people brought low by their own actions and the inexorable march of history. But it is also a story of hope. Amidst the ruins and the ashes, there is a glimmer of something more enduring. Even in the midst of destruction and despair, the hope of restoration and renewal flickered. This hope was not just a distant dream, but a promise that would eventually come to pass. The prophets, even as they lamented Judah's fate, also spoke of a time when God would gather his people back to their land and restore their fortunes. This promise of restoration is a powerful reminder that even in our darkest moments there is always a path to redemption and renewal. Section 9. Hope amidst the ruins, a promise of restoration. The Babylonian exile, though a period of profound hardship and dislocation for the people of Judah, also marked a significant turning point in their history. It was a time of great suffering, but also of profound reflection and transformation. Stripped of their land, their temple, and their political autonomy, they were forced to confront their past and to re-examine their relationship with God. This period of exile became a crucible for their faith, testing their beliefs and their resilience. The prophets, active during the exile, played a crucial role in sustaining the hope of the exiled community. They were the voices of encouragement, reminding the people of their identity and their divine purpose. They reminded the people of God's covenant with them, a covenant that transcended their current circumstances. This covenant was a source of strength and a beacon of hope in their darkest times. They spoke of a future restoration, a time when God would gather his people back to Jerusalem and rebuild their shattered lives. This promise of restoration was a powerful motivator, inspiring the exiles to hold on to their faith. The story of the fall of Jerusalem, though filled with tragedy and loss, ultimately points to the enduring power of faith and the possibility of redemption. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring hope for a better future. It is a story that continues to resonate today, offering both a warning and a message of hope for all who seek to live in right relationship with God and with one another. The lessons from this period are timeless, reminding us of the importance of faith, community, and the promise of restoration.